the campus of Teal College. TCTV News begins now.
Good evening, and welcome to TCTV News. I'm Garrett Reynolds.
And I'm Melissa Keener. We begin tonight by giving you the dirt on expansion plans at Teal College.
As TCTV Stephanie Hills tells us, the college has turned the first shovel of dirt on the ground that will house Teal's new chapel.
As one of Teal's oldest alumni, 96-year-old Colonel Reverend Woods has a deep and abiding love for his alma mater. It was that love of Teal that Woods says led him to donate $300,000 to the college for the building of a new chapel.
Great day for us to have a chapel here at this school, because that's the heart of our church.
Together with college officials, Woods broke ground on the site of the new chapel.
All who are making this possible.
The new chapel will be built here on this site that currently houses the Greenville Historical Society. The Marietta Roadhouse, which once belonged to the stepdaughter of Teal's first president, will be torn down to make room for the new chapel.
They said this is the place for it to go. And of course, one of the immediate reactions was, well, the Marietta Roadhouse is there, and how could you tear that down? And isn't that the Historical Society? And, well, no, the college has given free rent to the Historical Society for a number of years to house their collection there.
Teal College pastor, Dr. Reverend Paul Baglios, says he hopes the new chapel will draw more students.
I think it's been more a question of location on campus and location as an appendage to the Passivant Center that has been the inhibiting factor I'm talking about than interior appearance. Once you find your way into Burgess Chapel, there's plenty of symbolism that communicates visually you are in a place of worship.
The Greenville Historical Society is in the process of packing up these treasures inside the old house and moving them to their new home on Main Street. Historical Society spokesperson Ann Fowler says they're grateful for all the things Teal has done for them over the years. Chapel construction is scheduled to begin by the first of the year, and the college hopes to begin holding worship services by fall 2004. Stephanie Hills, TCTV Channel 9 News.
The new chapel is expected to open in the fall of next year.
Teal students and faculty recently rolled up their sleeves to help the local chapter of the American Red Cross in its annual college blood drive. Students say they're glad to help those in need.
We had a goal of, I believe, 85 people coming in and 65 actual donors, and we ended up getting 130 plus sign-ups, so it's really exciting. Yeah, really exciting. And they actually had to bring in like extra staff and all that.
Officials from the local chapter of the American Red Cross say they've seen an increase in donations since the September 11th attacks on our country. Red Cross officials say they believe the tragedy raised greater awareness for the need for blood.
What does monkeying around with genes mean for humans? That was the question at the center of a passionate lecture on medical ethics. Dr. David Kelly, professor of theology and healthcare ethics at Duquesne University, came to campus to discuss the ethical debate surrounding human gene therapy. The project is designed to arm people with the information needed to make important decisions about life and death.
Book reviews are to be released in April by two Teal College religion professors, Will and Kristen Kiplinger. TCTV's Angela Baker talked to Professor Kristen Kiplinger, who was an expert in Buddhism, about the book reviews. Professor Kiplinger has reviewed two books, Introduction of Buddhist Ethics and Beliefs in Ethics.
Actually, the way the Journal of Religion works is it's published by the University of Chicago, which is where I went to graduate school. And so my name is sort of on a list of people who might be recommended to write on certain topics. And so if you have a book that you particularly want to review, you can call and suggest it, and they might let you do it. But normally what happens is they solicit you to review it.
Professor Will Kiplinger reviewed a collection of essays on issues of belief and doubt. Both are to be published in the Journal of Religion, published by the University of Chicago.
One of Teal's greatest assets is its faculty. Alumni who recently returned to campus for a career fair credit many of their former professors for their current success. Several alumni recently returned to campus to talk to students about various career options. Alumni say employers have some basic demands of Teal grads.
Microsoft is looking for a couple of core values. We're looking for creative thinking. We're looking for outgoing, people, I guess is probably the best way to say that. We're looking for people who can think, it's very cliche, but out of the box. Take a problem, solve it in a creative manner, and then take the solution and look at that critically to make it even better.
Students like Tony Jeremita say the alumni really help them focus.
It's good to see that people from our school have succeeded in life, and gives us some motivation. Also, I think it's, like I said, it's important to have connections. And just from the many people I've talked to today, a lot of them are giving out cards and willing to offer advice, and maybe even people get internships or jobs out of this. So I think it's important to get to know people out there in the work field.
Alumni who attended this year's career fair hold a wide range of jobs, everything from accountant executives to narcotics agents. There's no place like home, especially when your home is Teal College.
Students and faculty opened their arms recently to embrace some long-lost family members. As TCTV's Emily Rosinski tells us, ye old homecoming celebration was filled with mirth and merriment.
Teal College, a kingdom revisited. That was the theme of this year's homecoming weekend. Think medieval times, think Renaissance, think Will Shakespeare.
I usually start planning pretty much the day after homecoming. One homecoming ends for the next year. I begin by picking a theme that I want to go with, and then we build all the events around that theme. Certainly I don't think they had been quite as themed as what I've been doing. This year in particular, the medieval theme, A Kingdom Revisited. I actually asked for, over the past couple of years, I've asked for alumni input, and this was one of the ideas that was suggested. So it's a lot of fun doing themes, and it makes it very easy to try and do the food and the activities kind of around whatever the theme is.
Alumni Director Leslie Schaefer says this year's homecoming had a medieval feel to it. A medieval fair was held on campus before the parade in front of Greenville Hall.
And we had a medieval fair on the grounds. This was the first time we'd done anything, and even though the weather was kind of nasty, it was a fairly successful event. We had different vendors and different groups doing demonstrations, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was something very different, but it was, again, a different kind of draw. People with kids enjoyed it. We even had a guy doing fire breathing, which was very interesting.
The annual parade made its way through downtown Greenville and down College Avenue. Just take a look at some of these creative floats students came up with. Something else original to campus this year was the medieval dinner theater. Theater students got a chance to showcase their acting talent to alumni and friends. Viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie.
Homecoming is a wonderful time because the college is kind of looking its best, and there are a lot of people around, and they're back to renew friendships and different relationships and see what's going on the campus.
The alumni knaves and wenches have already left Teal College campus, but planning for Homecoming 2004 is already underway. Outside Greenville Hall, I'm Emily Rosinski, TCTV News.
Joining us now to talk more about the game and the rest of the sports is TCTV News' very own Gregory Bors. That was a very disappointing game on Saturday, wasn't it, Gregory?
Yes, it was. It seemed like we had this one in the bag until late in the fourth quarter, and we just seemed to blow it. The pride is on the proud during homecoming here at Teal College, but strategy woes, poor clock management, and special team blunders were the undoing of what seemed to be a dream homecoming for the Tomcats. Now let's look at the highlight reel. The electricity was overflowing as the Tomcats entered the field Saturday at Alumni Stadium. The current would keep surging through the first quarter as the Tomcats' own Daryl Moore completes a 51-yard pass to Shannon Alston to set up a 1-yard touchdown burst by Justin Cuban. This is where the game began to look all Tomcats as a botched extra point turns into an amazing play as Tibbix caught the block kick and hurled the ball back to Moore, who found a wide open Dane Haskins in the end zone to put the Tomcats up 8-7. But even the strongest of football gods couldn't keep the energy flowing as a 40-yard missed field goal attempt was blown down by the wind, sucking the life right out of the Tomcats. There you have it, Tomcats 15, Wolverines 16, as you see the dejected players leaving the field. Talk about dominance. That's what the Browns did to the Steelers Sunday night. Browns, 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 Steelers, Steelers, Steelers. Kind of like the Hatfield and McCoys in these parts. The Browns seemed to have the Steelers on the ropes all night long as they knocked them around, waltzing their way to a 33-13 victory. Now let's touch base on other sports around campus and the baseball playoffs. Women's tennis is going through a rebuilding process this season. Not only have they had to struggle with their opponents, but they've had to dodge the weather as they fought to an 0-8 record overall while they're 0-5 in the PAC. Let's get them next year, girls. Men's soccer might only be 2-10-1 and 0-4-1 in the PAC, but there are several bright spots on the team. Players like Stephen Haylett, Jason Kolos, and Evan Knox have showed great promise, with 15 points for Mr. Haylett and 7 points for both Knox and Kolos. There are some promising young talent on the Teal's women team, and freshmen Holly Schaefer and Lindsay Smith who have 11 and 8 points respectively. The girls as a whole aren't faring all that bad either, where they're 5-9 overall and 2-2 in the PAC. Both men and women's cross-country team have had trouble bringing home the gold for us, but the men's team have won a lifetime supply of bronze. Currently this season they have 3 bronze, a 4th, and an 11th, while the girls have had trouble bringing home anything really. They have a 4th, a 7th, and a very unfortunate 13th. The Tomcats women volleyball team have scratched and clawed, or should I say bumped, set, and spiked their way to a good record this year. They're 6-10 overall, while they're 1-3 in the PAC. Looks like we're going to get them this year, girls. It's October. You know what that means? That means baseball playoffs. 8 teams becomes 4 as the Marlins eliminate the greatly favored Giants. Goliath gets his redemption against David as the Yankees knock off the Twins. The Cubs walk into Atlanta and steal 2 as they thrash the Braves. And in the most electrifying series of the year, the Red Sox knock off the A's. I guess you'd say the Red Sox finally get their chance to crush the curse of the Bambino as they play the Yankees in the second round. All these series are underway. The obvious fan favorites are the Red Sox and Cubs. Gary, I have the Yankees in 6. What do you think?
I'm a diehard Red Sox fan, so I'm going to go with Boston in 5. Emerald, watch out. You've got competition.
Bam! Teal College President Lance Masters traded his suit and tie for a chef's apron during the annual Lance Cooks event at homecoming. President Masters cooked up delicious medieval cuisine for alumni, knaves, and wenches and friends of the college.
Let's check with Greg Vorse one last time for a sports update.
Well, it seems like everybody's traveling to Westminster as the football team travels there, and so do both boys and girls soccer. They come here to play our volleyball team. The only oddball is out would be the cross-country teams who travel to the Waynesburg Invitational.
That does it for this edition of TCTV News. Thanks for joining us.
And have a good night.
TCTV News is a production of Teal College.